What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Shadow of the Erdtree walkthrough. So here we are at the storehouse 7th floor. For this next part, I'm actually going to put the Great Sword of Solitude back on because we're pretty much at the end of this portion of the dungeon. So I'm not as concerned about the HP regeneration capabilities that the Blasphemous Blade has. So I'm going to throw this back on. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go back down these stairs, run past everything, straight ahead. Then to our right, we're going to jump over onto this walkway, little plank thing. Hop up to the left. We want to go behind this right here to line up our jump because we're going to jump straight onto this. And I am sprinting for these jumps just to make sure that I clear the gap. Go all the way to the end and then jump over. But what we want to do now, to our left, we got a guy, got a couple more to the right. Take them all out. So there's a Fire Knight over there. We're going to handle that in just a second. For now, we're going to hang a left in here. Pick up some Ember of Mesmers. Now this is a Great Sword Fire Knight type. Pretty tough. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use my flask to buff up. So that way I can get quicker staggers because I do have the stagger break buff in here in my flask. So watch out. You can shoot projectiles at you. When he gets close enough, I'm going to do a special to knock him over. Jump attack, and that got me a posture break because I had the buff in my flask. Unfortunately, I missed the critical. I'm gonna finish it off right here. If I gotten the critical, it'd be the fight would have been over. But I missed the critical, unfortunately. So I got the Ringed Serpent Helm as well as Ash of War Flame Spear. We're gonna go through this door. Takes a quick second to open up. What we're gonna do now is we got a Scadutree fragment, and we are 1 fragment away from leveling up to 12. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get this grace. You go through this double door, you're going to fight the boss straight away. There's actually one thing we need to get before we progress. And I'm actually not going to fight the boss now. I'm going to get that next Scadutree fragment first. And we're going to explore another section of this dungeon before fighting the boss. If you want to go straight to the boss fight, just fast forward closer to the end of the episode. We're going to get to it at the end of the episode. So for now, we want to go over here and drop down. The reason why I got that grace is so we can warp to it later conveniently. Because once you drop down here, you get the impenetrable thorns. You can't just walk back up there. So we wanted to go ahead and unlock the grace first before dropping down here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go back to the first floor. If you remember in the previous episode, there was an elevator that we did not go down. Well, now we are going to go down the elevator. And that elevator is directly to our left. So just run past all the enemies and go down the elevator. So that incantation we just picked up, impenetrable thorns, actually very powerful. It gives enormous amounts of bleed buildup, and it's actually even good for some of the bosses. It really gets that bleed going really fast and does an insane amount of damage as a result. So I just wanted to point that out. Okay, so we're going to go straight. You see there's an item right in front of us. It's actually kind of a trap because there's a giant jar in this room. There we go. He's right off out of sight. Let him do his little spinny spin, and then you can basically just combo him. He gave us some stuff, but what we came here for was the gold pickled fowl-foot. Gonna be another ambush to the left. Go through here. Once we go through here, there's gonna be a innards thing that jumps out at us. Just watch out for that. Go. Over on this balcony, I have Ash of War, Wall of Sparks. That is an Ash of War that you can put on perfume bottles. Got some more innards in here as well. Oh yeah, yeah, there we go. Okay, so before we go down the stairs, there's actually an illusory wall right here. This, we get a cookbook. This cookbook allows us to craft sun warmth stones, which you place one down and it gives you an HP regen effect within a certain area. All right, so we got more innards down here. Some of them are going to surprise you out of pots. I don't know how that didn't hurt me. This one's got projectiles. Run up, do a jump attack. And that attack does a lot of damage. Kind of explodes. Over here we got to pick up innard meat. And we got some pots in here along with some more of the innards. Take care of all these pots. In the back, there's an innard meat that has a different attack that can kind of like make these puddles on the ground that hurt you. See, I'm gonna go ahead and take him out as quickly as I can. And he seems more powerful than the other ones. Take him out. Go. Here. This place is pretty gross. We got a hefty cracked pot. Here we have an Iris of Grace. So if we check this out, can also be used to retrieve the blessing of an equipped great rune. So we do not want to use this as a consumable. We want to save this because it can be used for a quest line later. And then here we've got another ambush coming up, I believe. To the right. It's kind of the name of the game in this section. A bunch of ambushes. Drop some innard meat. Yum. More pots. So what we want is this grace. The big double doors don't open. The one to the side does. So what we have here is this is an area for later in the game, but since it's attached to the keep, I went ahead and went this way. All right. So what we're going to do now is, remember we accessed this outside area via a coffin that we went in inside the Shadow Keep. So we're going to do this now, and this is where our next Scadutree fragment is going to be. Let's see, it is currently early day, so we'll leave it. We're going to fight a furnace golem, so go ahead and throw your star fists on or whatever weapon you're using to kill those. And also putting on a fire defense talisman, not a bad idea here either. So you see a bunch of these that are kind of ruined. There's, they have furnace visages that you can pick up. So I'd recommend doing that. There's 10 of them in total in this area. So that's number 1. We got 2. Three, 4, 5, and one of these is going to come alive. So we're going to have to hold our count at whichever one we get to before it comes alive. 6. 7. So I think we're going to get to 8. 8. Okay. So now this one's alive. Go ahead and summon Mimic. And then we're going to drink our flask and equip Crag Blade. And we'll jump over the flames. Top off the health real quick. And as I said before, I like to kind of pan my camera to the best of my ability. I'm going to have to take the damage here. I didn't get far enough away. I like to pan my camera to the best of my ability to see both of the legs in view, so I know when one of them is about to stomp. Already got 2 staggers. I was still caught by that. Couldn't get far enough away. Oh, he actually landed the stomp directly on top of me. So my Crag Blade wore off. Re-up it. Stop. Could be getting the stagger any second here. There we go. See which way he falls down. Looks like he's facing this direction. Going for the crit, and then rinse and repeat. Looks like Mimic's almost dead, though. So yeah, the reason why we're going down here now is because we're going to get another Scadutree fragment and another revered spirit ash. So we'll be able to level up our spirit summons and level up our Scadutree blessing. All right, managed to dodge that one. Mimic did not, however. Oh, double stomp. There goes Mimic. All right, first stagger. Up off that health. Need to re-equip Crag Blade. Oh, bad time to do it. I'm just gonna take the damage. That's fine. Heal up. Got 1 stagger. Another jump. I'm not gonna get far enough away. Again! I'm not going to get far enough away again. I need to stop doing that attack. Alright, now we're back to stomps. Good. Oh, double stomp. Oh, there we go. He's gone. All right, I can probably just get a regular kill here before he gets back up, so I'm not going to worry about getting the crit. There we go. So he's out. Oil Soaked Cracked Tear and Furnace Visage. So if you throw that, if you equip that, I think it puts oil on enemies around you. And makes it so that it's harder for them to hit you. Or makes it so that I rather not that. It makes it so that if you use fire, they're more susceptible to fire damage. So now that we're done with that, we're going to put the put my regular sword back on. Great Sword of Solitude. Okay, so kill this first golem. Another Furnace Visage over here. I think that's our 10th one. There's actually an 11th one that we're going to get, but it's not in the same exact kind of area. So inside of this building, there's going to be an item that we want. Ember of Mesmer. In the back, at southeast, we've got a revered Spirit Ash, and I believe this would allow us to level up our Spirit Ash blessing as well. Back here. Got some mushrooms somewhere. Miss them. I missed them. Yeah, here we go. There they are. I went right past them. Okay. So we got some shadow guys over here. Some of them will cast projectiles at you, so just beware. So what we're going to do is there's actually a second furnace golem, but we're going to kill this one a little bit differently. So if you go here, we actually have another furnace visage, and it's a good thing that we're picking all these up because we're going to need these to craft a certain item. For that, we're going to hop up here. I find it's easier to do this part without torrent. Lost Dash of War. I'm going to go all the way around here. And so here we have another furnace golem, but he is not active. So we can actually activate him and he's going to move out of the way so we can get under that archway that he's currently blocking. But to do that, we have to craft the hefty furnace pots. So we have 5 hefty cracked pots. So I'm going to craft 5 of these. Now, to activate him, you have to do a hefty furnace pot. He will not activate any other way. To damage him, we are actually going to use the hefty furnace pots. That's the best way to damage him using this method. The hefty fire pots will also damage him, but not do nearly as much damage. And you see that these do not require as much to craft. These just require the black fireflies, where these require the ember of Mesmers and the furnace visages. And so you're much more likely to be able to craft more of these, but if you've been following along, you should have more than enough to craft the 5 of these. But just know that these can also damage him, but you will require at least 1 of these to activate him. So what I'm going to do, put this on my toolbar. You got to throw 1 in to activate him. And then once he's going, we're going to get on torrent and then run through that archway. And as I said, we're going to kill this one a little bit differently. If you remember, we read a note before coming into the fire keep that said, like, don't throw in the pots, the fire pots on his head or whatever, because it overloads him with fire and causes him to explode. So 2 of the furnace pots should kill him, and he just did that attack while I was up there. Wow, okay. Normally he does not do that attack. Normally he does the attack where he throws the fireballs, but something new every day, huh? So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get around this area so we can get up above him and throw these pots inside of his basket. Now you can fight him the conventional way as well, but this way is much quicker and perhaps much more fun. Yes, normally he does this attack. I've never seen him do that other attack before, I don't recall, but at least not at this point, at this location. I've seen him do that other attack at other locations, but not here. So let's try again. We have to go all the way around, and you have to do this on torrent because there's a part that you have to double jump to get to. So this platforming can be a little bit tricky. Just beware. You got to kind of make a couple diagonal jumps. But I try to jump so I'm relatively in a straight line to where I'm trying to land. You want to double jump up here. Now we're going to dismount torrent, and here's where we're going to use our furnace pots. So if he's about to do an attack, you can go back to this corner and dodge the fireballs. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to throw these fire pots in the top of his basket. You see, I didn't see his health bar there, but it does an enormous amount of damage. And as I said, it did one. So 3 of these are going to kill him. So as I said, the hefty fire pots also work. They're just not going to do as much damage. So that's why we're using the furnace pots instead of the fire pots. Wait till this is done. We're going to throw 1 more in, and that should get him. There we go. Is he gone? Yep. That's it for him. Excellent. We get the blood-sucking cracked tear and another furnace visage. So the blood-sucking cracked tear is very good. It gives you a 20% boost to your damage of all damage types. But what it does is it drains your HP by 1%. every second. So you do take a little bit of a hit to your HP. However, it might be considered worth it to do the extra damage. I did use it quite a bit on my first playthrough. I'm probably not going to use it very much on this playthrough just because it is risky. It's more of a risky strategy. And I don't want to be, you know, for those of you who don't want to take that level of risk, I don't want to be demonstrating that as part of the walkthrough, but just know that you have it in your back pocket in case you want to test it out. And I don't know if we have it yet. I'm going to check. Let me see. Inventory. I'm going to see if we have the one. That's not it. Yes, this one. So you can combine that with this one. Steadily restores HP for a time. So this gives you an HP regen. So what I did was I combined this with the blood sucking. And so this one depletes your HP, whereas this one restores your HP steadily. And the HP regen is not enough to fully offset the drain here, but it's close enough to where like I didn't really care about the impact. And it basically, if you put this in there with this, you're going to lose a very negligible amount of HP over a period of time. And by the way, this buff lasts for 3 minutes when you use it. That's more than enough for a whole boss fight. And so this one, for the most part, will offset, but not completely offset. And it'll give you a 20% boost in damage. So if you want to try something out, if you're struggling against a boss and you're not doing as much damage as you like, maybe give it a shot. But again, I'm not going to be using that as part of the walkthrough. It is a bit of a risky strategy, as I did say. So, in here, you have the giant golden arc incantation. And then over here, remember we got this like stone sheathed sword? And I said there's parts later where you can enchant it. Well, here you can enchant it. You can raise the stone sheathed sword to the dark, and now it becomes the Sword of Darkness. So it is a different weapon now. It does require faith to use, but it is, you know, it does take on new properties now that we've enchanted it. And we're going to come to an altar later where we can chain it to the Sword of Light as well. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to head down this path for just a bit, because right here behind this waterfall is our Scadutree fragment that we're after. It is a little bit of a hike, but not too bad. Let's see, it's morning time already, so I don't need to worry about the time. Just be careful on this path. There's a couple spots where there's a gap in the rocks you have to jump over. Otherwise you might fall down. So I'm going to get this grace. And there's really only one way to go. It's a pretty linear path as far as this stretch is concerned. Here's a spot where you have to jump. Just make sure you don't fall down. Another spot where you have to jump. You got the fly people here. Most of these you can just run away from. So here's a spot where we can jump across. We're going to pick up the thin beast bones and then jump across. Take a right. To a dead end for another item. Fly mold. Now we're just going to head straight down this path to our next site of grace. Just follow this path straight. Here I believe are some smithing stones. And our grace is going to be just down below, so just drop. We're going to get this grace. And I'm going to go ahead and rest at it to reset the enemies. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm going to have to kill them anyways. So I'm probably not going to rest because I don't really need to. Okay, so from the grace... But all these guys follow me. Okay. So from the grace, we're going to head back this way, kind of around here, the northeast. And you notice there is all this stuff down here. We're going to get to this later, but we're just doing this for the Scadutree fragment for now. See where that shiny is? That's where we're headed. So hug this wall. It's going to hook us to the left. Cross over at the left. And now we're going to drop right where this shiny is. So use that as your guide. Got the dry leaf seal. We can continue to drop down from here. So don't drop down all the way. This waterfall right here is what we want. So you can drop down lower all the way to that river level. That's not what we want. We want to go right where this waterfall is. And this is going to take us to our Scadutree fragment. There's going to be a couple of the Miranda flowers. Pretty much just going to ignore them. Here, got some thin beast bones. Is there another item? I believe there is on the way. Yeah, there it is. Grab this, Somber 7. And a Scadutree fragment. So we hide behind this waterfall. It should allow you to warp eventually. There we go. All right, so we did what we came here for. So now we're going to warp back here to the dark chamber entrance. That's where we're going to fight the boss. So for this quick equipment check, we definitely want the Flame Drake Talisman +3 equipped. I'm also going to take this off at the expense of some extra damage to equip the Dragon Crest Great Shield, which will also boost our physical damage negation, just help us to survive a little bit. And of course, we would be remiss if we did not level up our Scadutree and Spirit Ash. So make our Spirit Summon more powerful and give us more Scadutree. Okay, so what that does is that we're at Scadutree level 12 now. So that gives us, if you take our base damage before we did any Scadutree upgrades, we're at 85% more damage, higher damage than we were at base damage with 12 blessings. So we are 85% higher damage. The max at level 20 is 105%. So there's only a 20% difference between level 12 and level 20. And we've got 85% of that difference from level 0 to level 12. So we've got the bulk of the increase already. And from here, from 12 on out to 20, it is very much diminishing returns for each level that you get. So just keep that in mind. We're at 85% extra damage, and the highest we can get is 105% extra damage. So we're pretty much most of the way there, even though we're only just past half of the number of upgrades that we can possibly get. So that being said, we have the boss. This is Mesmer. So if you follow the Hornsent quest, Hornsent is summonable for this fight, but his summon sign is inside the boss room. To my knowledge, since his summon sign is inside the boss room instead of outside, his summoning him does not increase the boss's HP. I could be wrong, but that is what I believe. So his summon sign is just past where you walk in. It's to the right. So you want to make sure that you summon him to advance his quest line. If you don't summon him, his quest line is going to take a different outcome. So I am going to summon him because I feel like that's the proper ending for his quest. So I'm going to summon him first because Mesmer attacks you right when you walk in. He's going to do a dive bomb attack that has an AoE explosion after, so you have to dodge twice. You have to dodge the dive bomb, then you have to dodge the AoE. There's a bit of a delay between the two, so if you roll twice in a row, the explosion is going to hit you. If it hits you, it's not that big of a deal. You're just going to have to heal real quick. So I would suggest summoning Hornsent first, and then allowing Mesmer to aggro on Hornsent, and then summon Mimic, and then buff up. Because if you try to summon Mimic first, you're gonna take the HP damage from summoning Mimic, and then you're also probably gonna get hit. If you do not have Hornsent, if you did not follow the same quest path that I followed, it's not a big deal. Just summon Mimic as soon as you can. Just know that you're probably gonna take a hit as you do so, and then just heal up as soon as you can. So yes, we are gonna summon Hornsent for this. He does have some pretty powerful attacks, namely the opener, which is the biggest one to watch out for. He has one where he does kind of a triple stab in the air, and then he does another dive bomb, and then another AoE that where like these swords hit the ground. So for that, you're gonna want to dodge his triple stab. You're gonna want to dodge his dive bomb, and then a slight delay, and then dodge again for the ground attack. He does have a grab where he'll light his fist on fire, and then he'll charge at you and do an uppercut. You want to dodge through that uppercut so you don't get grabbed. That does an enormous amount of damage, his grab does. So those are the main attacks to watch out for in his first phase. He does transform at the second phase. We'll get to that when that happens. Okay, so that's my spiel before this fight. Let's go on in. So first things first, you're going to dodge his opening attack. And he does the same opener whether this is your first time or it's a subsequent attempt. So just know that. It's going to be the same opener pretty much every single time.
Mongrel intruder. That tarnished, it seemeth. Mother, wouldst thou truly lordship sanction in one so bereft of light? Yet, my purpose standeth unchanged. Those stripped of the grace of gold shall all meet death. In the embrace of Mesmer's flame.
Okay, so dodge the opener. Again, it's a dive bomb and then an explosion. Okay, so summon Ansbach is the next priority, right here by the fog gate. So summon him, get away, wait till he aggroes. I'm pretty much just gonna dodge away from Mesmer, basically spamming those dodges until he takes on to Ansbach, and then I'm gonna summon Mimic. There we go. So Mimic time, and then buff time, and then I'm gonna heal. Heal up. Oh, that's the grab. I'm dead. I am dead. So that's the thing is, even though he did his attention did divert there for a second, his aggro can still switch. All right, so we're gonna try that one again here. So let's see here. Just gonna check my equipment again. If you notice, that grab attack of his is actually very reminiscent of Melania's. So they have the same mama. Maybe they learned that trick from her. So let's see. I did summon Horn Scent, but I will say if he dies, it does slightly impact his dialogue. If he survives the fight, he's going to show up at the end in Mesmer's arena. If not, he's going to show up somewhere else. It doesn't really impact his quest as long as you summon him, but for the purpose of this walkthrough, I do want him to survive. So now that I think of it, I think I'm going to update my flask concoction ever so slightly here. Because, let's see, I'm going to replace this, the Dex Knot tier, with this one. Steadily restores HP of nearby allies. And this is just to make sure Horn Scent survives. If he does not survive in your game, it does not, as far as I know, impact the outcome of his quest, which even if you summon him or not, the outcome of his quest is not all that different. There's a slight difference in terms of when you encounter him next, but still the same thing ends up happening. But for the purposes of the walkthrough, as I said, I do want him to survive. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this one on just to help his HP. And also I think this should help Mimic's HP as well. So, not necessarily suggesting you do the same thing. This is more just kind of for safety, and hopefully I'll get past, you know, his first phase this time. All right, so we're gonna go back through the fog and let's see here. Hopefully we'll do better. His first attack is gonna be exactly the same, and our agenda is exactly the same. So dodge the dive bomb, dodge, dodge. Get Horn Scent in the game, and I'm just gonna kind of spam dodge until Horn Scent's in, and then we're gonna get Mimic in. And I'm debating on, I'm gonna forego the Flame Grant Me Strength this time, because putting on that extra buff may have been to my detriment. All right, now that he's on Horn Scent, I'm gonna put Mimic in, heal, and then I'm going to the flask, and hopefully this does what I think it'll do. It'll maintain my NPC's HP a bit. You see I have that kind of glowing aura. This is not something that I would usually use, but really, I really do want Hornsent to survive this fight. All right, that's a stab, and then he hits the ground, and I dodged the wrong way. I dodged into the AoE instead of away from it. That's his big combo. Doing his dive bomb again. Another explosion. There we go. Got a stagger. Awesome. So you get the riposte here, and this should take him into a second phase. Here we go. So a nice little cutscene for his second phase.
I will not suffer. Our Lord, devoid of light. No, Mother. Forgive me.
So in his next phase, he can turn into a snake. He turns back and forth between his snake form and his normal form. His first attack is going to be very similar. It will be in snake form to his opening attack. It'll be a dive bomb and then an explosion. You can damage him in snake form or normal form. He has several attacks where he turns into a snake, and then he'll target you or one of your allies. Be prepared to dodge that initial attack, but it may be targeted at one of your allies too. Some of his combos are similar, but he does have a lot of new attacks in his second phase as well. All right, so we're gonna watch and see kind of where he goes for starters here. It looks like he's going for me, so dodge when he comes down, and then dodge back again to get rid of get out of the AoE. He has an attack where he turns into a snake and he does several bites. Here's that is, and these are all coming for me. It looks like. Stabbing the ground, and he does his sword AoE, similar to the first phase. Bunch of snake bite type attacks. Keep an eye on that HP. I don't know how much this flask is actually helping my allies' HP, but I'm assuming it's helping at least a little bit. But we do want Hornsent to survive. Almost got him. Oh, he got me with the grab. Oh, geez. Yeah, and he's probably immune to damage while I'm being grabbed. Oh, healed at just the nick of time there. It looks like my buddy's got the kill. So Hornsent did survive. Perfect. That's all I wanted. And again, if he dies in your game, it's not really going to affect his quest.
Their pain, all that they felt. Do you understand now? Your ugliness. Ah!
But you will miss out on that dialogue. So we got the remembrance for Mesmer and the Mesmer's kindling. Very important. And I got my runes over here. I totally forgot about my runes. That's hilarious. There they are. Nice. Okay. So another thing about Hornsent is if he survives, if you rest here at this site of grace, he's going to pop up and you can talk to him. And I believe if he dies, he does not pop up here. Now there's going to be another place where we warp to and talk to him. He will be at that place even if he dies, and his quest will continue on. It should continue on as normal from there. If not, it really doesn't change all that much. Really, all it does is it changes if you encounter him in this area towards the end of the game or in the final area. That's really all it changes, but the encounter is very similar nonetheless. So no big deal there. And so let's see. We got the Ember of Mesmer. So let's take a peek at that. It has some important lore tidbits inside of it. Remembrance of Mesmer the Impaler, hewn into the Scadutree. The power of its namesake can be unlocked by the finger reader. A malevolent snake writhes within Mesmer, and so his very mother plucked out his eye and put in its place a seal of grace. We saw that in the cutscene when the transition to his second phase. Yet having done so, her fear compelled her to secret away her child within the realm of shadow, hidden away, keeping company with the original sin and a hatred that would not be confined. So Mesmer was effectively banished to the shadow realm by Marika. And Mesmer, like his siblings, Melania and Mikola, has a curse. So Melania's curse, of course, was with the rot. Mikola's curse was with eternal youth, and Mesmer's curse was with this serpent. And so Melania put that seal in his eye to try to hold back the serpent. And so that's when he transforms in a second phase. He takes it out and crushes it, and that's when he can turn into the snake. So very cool. And you, of course, saw Hornsent's dialogue kind of relishing in the vengeance that he achieved out of the pain and suffering that his people suffered at the hands of Mesmer. Very cool all around. So we're going to rest at this site of grace. I'm going to change my physic concoction back to what it was before. Because really I only had that concoction because I wanted to get that effect for healing my my allies. I don't know how much it even really worked, but it made me feel better to have it on. So we're going to put this back to, I should put the strength knot tier, honestly, because I had the dex knot on before. And if I were playing myself, I'd be a little bit more fast and loose. I'd probably do the concoction with the blood sucking crack tier and the, which one was it? The Crimson Burst crystal tier. But this is definitely a more conservative approach, and I think better probably for a walkthrough for demonstration purposes. So that being said, we're going to level up, and there's Hornsent. Put this into strength. That takes me to 800. Either way, so I think strength, 55 strength is the soft cap for strength. I'm gonna go ahead and put that there. I can do more than one level though. So if I put 2, that gives me 803, and that gives me 801. So yeah. So 55 is the first soft cap, and I believe 80 is the second soft cap. So even though it's diminishing returns from here on, I think it's still more beneficial to go into strength and dex. But yeah, we'll go with 2 strength. Reset the talismans. So I'm gonna put my normal talismans back on. And have the 2-handed talisman. There we go. Let's talk to Hornsent.
We meet again, I see, comrade in arms. Upon his end, did you see Messmer's face? 'Twas sublime. A very tangle of snakes. To think he dared call us savages, when he himself was most base of all. To say the least, I am to you indebted, yet unquenched remains my thirst for revenge. The death of Mesmer was merely the start. Now comes the piper to collect from Marika, her offspring, and all the Erdtree's denizens. In vengeance for the flames, my blade I wield. If Mikola's redemption soothes the ache that throbs within, demanding blessed vengeance, then I wish not to be by him redeemed. If Mikola's redemptions, then I wish not to be by...
Alright, so Hornsent is out for blood now. He got a taste of it with Mesmer, and he found it exhilarating. So now he's just out to get everybody who is part of that whole family tree. So you see now we have this grace. It points us in this direction. This is kind of towards the end of the story path. So we're going to get to this place a bit later. We're going to do all of the other areas of the map first. But if you wanted to go on and advance the story and get to the end, this is the way that you would go to do it. Okay, so now we're going to warp back to the High Road Cross site of grace. We're just going to advance. Now that we've killed Mesmer, we can advance some quest lines a little bit further now.
Ah, there you are. I've made up my mind. The Hornsent is no longer a mortal danger. With his grudge against Sir Messmer settled, his blade is bent by madness. Wherever he goes, he won't last long. I needn't bother with him. Unruly emotions only lead to misfortune. All the more reason we need someone like Mikula the Kind.
All right, so she no longer considers Hornsent a threat to Mikula. So she is moving
I
on.
shouldn't let myself, but I suppose it's only natural to feel the weight of one's deeds at times like these. There's plenty left to be done, and I will see to it. Who else, I wonder? I don't enjoy casting suspicion on anyone I've called a comrade, but it's a small sacrifice in the grand scheme of things. We must eradicate all doubt. Who else? I don't enjoy casting.
Now she's wondering who else. So if you rest, she will arrive at her conclusion.
Ah, there you are. I'm afraid Sir Ansbach will have to be next. He insists that he's nothing but a worn-down over-the-hill soldier. But in his day, he was the feared commander of the pure-blood knights, who cleaved open Mikula the Kind with his blood blade. He claims he hasn't the spirit to take up his sword again, but I doubt it'll be very long before he recalls, as I have, the cascading sheets of blood. I'm afraid he cannot be left to fester. I've come to a real... There's ample evidence. Without kindly Mikula's influence, I'm quite mistrustful. I've come to... There's ample... I'm quite...
So she has set her sights on Ansbach, saying that maybe he's a little bit more powerful than he lets on, and he's not to be underestimated. So let's rest again. Okay.
I've come to... There's ample... I'm quite
Okay, so she should move on. So what we're going to do is we're going to warp here to the storehouse first floor, and we're going to go back to Ansbach's site. And so very similar to what it was before, where we could side with Lita or side with Hornsent, there's going to be another summon sign in here where now you can either sign with Lita or Ansbach. So if you sign with Lita, it ends Ansbach's quest. You're not going to be able to see him later. If you side with Ansbach, you get his stuff, including his bow, which I really, really want. And Ansbach's quest is going to progress as usual. You're not going to see Lita again, regardless of which you choose. You're not going to see Lita again for a while. So definitely, I think the right thing to do here is to side with Ansbach, because Lita's quest has the same outcome regardless. Ansbach's quest will change whether you, depending on if you summon him or not. And I think the better outcome for his quest is if you summon him. And of course, as I said, I want his bow, and you'll see why. So now, yeah, we have the two summon signs, the red sign for Lita, the gold sign for Ansbach. So we're going to assist Ansbach, and I suggest you do the same. This will allow Ansbach to be summoned later on in the game. If you don't summon him here, either by way of summoning Lita or just by ignoring this altogether, then he's not going to be available later.
I will dispose of you. I find that I have a new apprehension. You're ambivalent, and exactly where it might lead you.
So, you would cull an old man such as I. You are thorough indeed, Lady Neda. I would expect nothing less. As you surmise, I do have my doubts, and will not simply lay down and die with them. Have you lost your wits? By my troth, you have no such debt to this old man. Though I gladly welcome your decision. Now I might even live to see tomorrow.
All right, Ansbach for the win there.
I ask you keep kindly Mikula in your...
Pretty straightforward encounter. Now, if you did side with Lita there, you can get a talisman that enhances your rolling attacks and your backstep attacks. I think to get that, though, you have to talk to her again at the Site of Grace. So for that, we get Lita's rune, which if you pop that, it gives you, I think, 40,000 runes. There's nothing else that I'm aware of that it could be used for. And we got Ansbach's longbow, which we are going to upgrade that. Well, actually, we're going to go back to Round Table Hold. I'm going to upgrade that now, and that's going to be my primary bow. So just a quick equipment comparison. You see my current longbow has a complete total damage output of about 283 if you include the scaling plus the base damage, and then a range of 50. We'll upgrade Ansbach's bow. And the damage output should be slightly higher, same range, but the Ash of War on this thing, the ability is insane. We definitely want it. Ansbach's longbow, here we go. It takes somber stones to level up. I'm gonna take this all the way up to 10. We'll throw it on. So you see, we're doing a little bit more damage. And then you look at the unique skill fan shot. This skill uses the bow held horizontally, readies 8 arrows at once, firing them in a fan-shaped arc. So doing this does consume 8 arrows, but I'll show you in a minute. It is worth it. So let's see, just a quick equipment check. I want to see, I have, let's see, I have 19 in storage, so I might actually go back. More, I think, sells arrows, so we might pay more a visit here. And as I said, we're not ready to advance Moore's quest yet, but we can still use him as a merchant. I'm going to buy some arrows just to have some extra stock. So this is a message from Lita. This appears at, I think, whatever of the Michaelis crosses you warp to, I think you're going to find that. I've seen it at a different one before too. I've seen it at the Morth Ruins one before too. So let's check that out real quick. Message left by Needle Knight Lita, addressed to kindred spirits who also pursue Michaelis Trail. Dane passed on a message. The sealing tree is in the ancient ruins of Rao. It lies beyond the high bridge leading from the first floor of the storehouse. I will join you there once I finish the task at hand. So it's basically pointing you in that same direction that I showed you on the map earlier. It's pointing you in this direction here. So Moore, we're not ready to advance this quest line, so don't select Talk to Moore yet, but we will purchase. He does sell arrows. And I'll go for an even 500. Why not? And what we're going to do is we can advance Hornsent Grandam's quest line as well now, since we've killed Mesmer. And while we do this, I'm going to show you something. Do I have it equipped? I do not. Here we go. So check this out. Ready the bow. Hold down, oops. Hold down R2 to activate the Ash of War, and then L1 to ready your arrows. Let's see. Why isn't the cursor popping up? Did I forget how to... There we go. Watch this guy. He's going to come over. Well, if he doesn't come over, I'm going to follow him. Remember how hard these guys used to be? Watch this. Look at that damage. Twice. Kills him before he even gets to me. And I got a somber 9 in his helmet for that too. That's all random. So that is pretty insane. Almost, you know, trivializes, because if each of those arrows hit, it shoots 8. Not all 8 are actually going to hit because they're shot horizontally, but still. I'm going to lock on and do it this way rather than free aiming. Look at that. This bow is insane. So there are enemies that I'm going to be using that on to assist. Now, if you had, I'll go ahead and point out, if you had sided with Hornsent before to take out Lita and you don't have that that capability, you would have gotten Hornsent's Ash of War Swift Slash or whatever it's called. And that attack is just as powerful, if not more powerful than what I just showed you. So if you have that instead of this bow, because of what choice you made, don't feel bad at all. You can use that and you'll be doing pretty good with that as well. So the rewards for this quest are, regardless of which path you take, the rewards for this quest are pretty good in terms of potential attack power. Whether you got the Ash of War, whether you get the bow, or one of the talismans, all pretty good options.
Heavens, great and gallant sculptor, I know it in my bones. Thy deed is done.
So she can sense that Mesmer is gone.
Worthy deed, no doubt, to bring our foes what surely was deserved recompense. Oh, oh, heaven hath borne witness to our plight. Thy gleaming wrath and unparalleled dance. Though a trifle it might seem to thee, I have prepared a dish in celebration. It would please me much if thou might partake. Partake.
She gives us gourmet scorpion stew, which is an upgraded version of the scorpion stew that we got before. The only difference is that this one is not infinitely refillable should you choose to use it. But you can get one more. If you reset, go back, you'll get one more from her. And that's pretty much the end of her quest line. G2, much like Hornsent, is very happy to hear of Mesmer's demise.
Sculpted keeper, I offer my thanks. Thou danced with passing wrath and beauty, such that rightfully avenged we would be. I have never known such joy as this. Sculpt, oh, grey art thou by this old maid, unduly pushed into facing such labors as our grave resent. With such bounteous fury didst thou dance. I cannot presume thou didst not so please. I ask thee, allow thyself some rest. None of the tower would dare interfere, and if one should, I'll see to them myself. Apolly, but wouldst mine eyes are oft apt to glaze over. The years taking their toll, 'tis plain to see. Even telling dream from reality is a task increasingly beyond me. Apolly.
All right, so she wants some rest, so we got to warp back one more time. Then when we go back, there's going to be another one of the stews. There we go. And that's the last of them we can get. Is now taking a little nap. Okay. So, let's see. We'll just warp back here to Morth Ruins, and this is where we're going to pick up things next time. So I believe if Hornsent died during your encounter, also, I think he's going to show up here at the High Road Cross. And he'll have extra dialogue for you there. But for now, we're going to Morth Ruins. And this is where we're going to pick things up next time. So, hope you guys stick around. Hope you guys have been enjoying this so far. Really appreciate each and every single one of you guys watching these walkthroughs, and I hope they're helping you out. So, anyways, with that, stay tuned for more, and we'll see you next time.